All right, everyone, let's now talk about house number 8. What is house number 8? As I mentioned, don't look at the Roman numerals. That just represents your house number 8. You won't find that on your chart that you pull up. You will only find that little number that is not in Roman numerals in your chart. What will that represent? That will represent your Lord of house 8. Who's the Lord of your house 8? What is your house 8 going to be like? The kind of work that you may end up doing in that house 8, the kind of treatment you may end up getting from house 8. But it will, if you have planets sitting in your house 8, now the treatment will depend more on the planets than the Lord itself. So if you don't have any planets, and of course the Lord is going to be the one most impactful to you for your house 8. Now let's talk about what is house 8. House 8 is a lot of things. It is, first of all, any kind of inheritance is going to be seen from house 8. Any kind of sudden loss or sudden gain is seen from house 8. So it's a very important house. If you have some malefics sitting in that house, you could see some sudden losses. Now, what kind of loss will you see will be shown depending on where the Lord is, who's sitting there, who is it making connections with, associations with, who are the aspects that are happening on house 8. Those type of things we will tell you when we look at house number 8. It is also the house of your transformation. You know, if you have a lot of planets sitting in house 8, you can really relate yourself that this is a life for you where you're going to be seeing a lot of transformation happening in your life. Okay, the transformation could happen in many, many ways, again, depending on what stars, planets, what is sitting there, who's the Lord, where the Lord is, etc. But that would be a transformation house, especially if you have a stellium sitting there. Stellium means anything, a large number of planets sitting in that house. House 8 is also the house of your in-laws, or you can call it your spouse's family, your partner's family. It's the house of your in-laws. So it's also the house of your in-laws' wealth as well, or your partner's wealth is seen from house number 8, because your wealth is seen from house 2, as I mentioned. This is your partner's wealth also. This is also the house of occult knowledge. It is a house of in-depth research, underground research. So say you, instance, work in a foundation repair company and you're under the earth all the time. So you may have a bunch of planets sitting there and it's somehow connected to your house 10 of work as well. Maybe even 11 in some other houses, wealth, maybe the house of wealth, maybe house 2. So you'll see a lot of connections there. And this is also the house of your research work. Say you want to be a detective, you know, this is one of the locations. If it's somehow connected to your work, your income, you will see that you could be an excellent detective. And also how your communication skills are, if it's somehow connected to your house number 3 or 5 or 2, etc. This is where you want, this is also the house of obstacles and anxiety. You know, you may be more anxious than others if you have more planets here, and anxiety too. One of the most important things that you see from this house is your health in terms of your lower areas. So if your mouth is where you take the food in, this is where you excrete the food out. So that's why in my video on house 2, I mentioned, you know, how you want to be careful in what you're taking in your mouth, because if you have a lot of planets sitting in that house, that could be malefic. Or even if you have no planets, but you have malefic aspects coming to this house, or the Lord of the house itself wants you to do the right thing, then you may see some issues in your bottom part where you excrete the food out. This can also represent uterus in a female horoscope as well. The female may have issues with uterus if there are any kind of malefic associations to this particular house. What else does house 8 represent? So you've got your sudden loss, sudden gain, inheritance, in-laws, transformation is a big one. You've got your underground research, you've got your research overall. What can you be depending on what you have here? You could be an excellent surgeon if you have some good planets sitting in there and it's connected to your house of work. Because surgeon is your in-depth work. You could be a type of engineer that deals with a lot of in-depth work. You could be a geotechnical engineer, soil borings. You could work in a foundation repair company. Again, as we want to make sure we look at your chart before you go and jump into this profession, because we want to make sure there's no malefic associations to this house, how far you want to stay away from this house perhaps, versus in the house itself. So reach out to us if we could help you in that. But I hope this was a helpful video for you to understand house 8. And do go ahead and subscribe and click on the bell icon, and we would love to see you in our next video. Thank you.